It's still
All right.
preparing. Let's see, this meeting is being live streamed. Got it. It's setting up the meeting on YouTube. So, and
All right.
we are live. Let's see this meeting. Okay, I need to make sure that we're not echoing because I can see it over here. So I'll be able to see anybody that comes in and asks us questions. So thank you so much. Live Dreaming English. I'm here with Sam Shepard, who up until Friday was my coworker, and we do a lot of work with helping people with college applications. And Sam is, so you want to tell about how you teach English? What is your certification?
Sure. So I got my certification in 2018, TEFL certification. I got it through this website. It's an online TEFL academy. It's actually in Chicago, but they ran me through, a whole program, like a summer-long program, and it had a practicum at the end, which is like, formal experience on the job that you do, and it was a lot of fun getting it. So
okay,
pretty much the layout of the class, if they went over, like, they wanted to appeal to listening, reading, speaking, pronunciation, and they had us every week. They'd give us a little unit to prepare, and it was all about lesson planning and appealing to those senses. And it was probably like 4 or 5 hours a week from like June until late September. But and then the teacher would review your work. They'd say, "Oh, you came up with a good lesson. This lesson could have been tweaked a little bit here." Overall, pretty like, I would say, solid general English exposure from a teacher perspective.
That's awesome. We do have English with AK saying hello, and Travel Bloom, hello to you. If you have questions, please let us know, and we can answer them. So then you started to do some one-on-one or like some private tutoring of English after that?
Yes. So I started the class in early June. In September of 2018, or was it 2019? 2018, I think. I did the practicum. I volunteered at an organization in Waltham, Mass, which is kind of an urban area. Something about health and family. I forget the exact name of the organization, but pretty much I was like a teacher's aide for about a month plus. I guess it really started in August. I was there for about a month and a half. I was a teacher's aide. I would assist. I would get there early, prepare the classroom, get out resources that would be used, throughout the class. And then when the students came in, I would just be there assisting them with exercises. Trying to think. There was this guy that worked there. He had gotten his training from a Boston Academy of English, or of teaching English, or a pretty thorough program. And he was a great teacher, very, very kind, very patient with the students. A lot of the students in the program, I think a lot of Guatemalan, there's a Russian couple, a little mix of language learners, but definitely a solid intro experience. That's when I started to realize that teaching English is very fun. People there are very appreciative to learn, and they're serious, but there's also that fun side, which is something that's when I knew, like, okay, I can definitely do this. Like, this is great. And
that's awesome. I have Travel Bloom, who is asking about the IELTS. The IELTS, it's ELTIE. IELTS exam, and if you have any good resources for that.
I personally have not heard of that. I will look it up though.
Exam. I mean, I hear that it's exam, I believe, Travel Bloom. I think it's the exam that if you want to study in the US, if you're from another country, that you want to study in the US or work in the US, that you have to take. So let me know if I'm incorrect, Travel Bloom. And then, so Sam does not have a website yet. He's thinking about it, but he doesn't have a YouTube channel yet. So he's just being a guest here on Dreaming English.
Not yet.
Not yet. So we're hoping to have him on some more videos here on Dreaming English. And when he does have a YouTube channel, you will see it featured on my YouTube channel.
Awesome. I'll be here. I'll either as a watcher or as a fellow channel colleague. I'll be here. So
the IELTS, I think it's IELTS, I think it's pronounced that, is for immigration. So I think it's for people that want to immigrate to the US or to maybe like Great Britain or an English speaking country. That's the exam. So TOEFL, I think, is if you want to study in like if you want to study in US and you're from another country and English is a second language. Is that correct, Sam?
What's
TOEFL for? I think sometimes our students are taking it if they like, I had students that sometimes if they were going to apply to a college and they were not in the US long enough, then some colleges were requiring them to take the TOEFL exam.
Teach English as a foreign language, TOEFL.
Okay.
But it's pretty much, just a common certificate to just show that you've had some training as a teacher. I do have some opinions about, so like I did the online program that was based out of Chicago. Very solid program, very good feedback. I think I was prepared to teach lessons. However, if I could go back, I would shout for like anyone that's like a beginner teacher. If I was giving advice, I would say to really pick a program that is very strong, even if it's more money and less convenient. I would suggest it because, present day, I'm doing a lot of Google searching and a lot of digging through resources that maybe some things would have been covered more in depth at a stronger institution. But it's two sides of the coin. I mean, I've shored up some of my teacher knowledge just in a different way, but teaching, I mean, that's my 2 cents on the TOEFL certification. But if you're a teacher, no matter what, you'll always be learning. You'll always be trying to appeal to your students. It's really a big part of being a teacher is connecting with the students and trying to serve it up on a platter for them to make it all about learning for the student, not about trying to decipher what the teacher's doing on the PowerPoint or whatever.
So Travel Bloom also says you have a very peaceful background, so that like you're outside, it looks like.
Yeah, I live in the town of Northbridge, Mass. There are a lot of woods, very many trees, many, and this is fall. We have leaves on the ground and
so our leaves are starting to change here in New England. We have fall or autumn, and our leaves are starting to turn from green to like red and orange and yellow. So it's really beautiful. And so Sam's outside. So that's wonderful. It's nice and peaceful there. So Sam, what is your approach when you teach students?
Okay, yes. So whether I'm in a classroom or tutoring, I like to just start the lesson with a little bit of personal piece about maybe if I went to like an amusement park, roller coasters, or if I went to the movies or something, I'd take a couple of pics while I was there. Class starts, just go over nouns, I guess. that is a big part of my approach. I want to demonstrate a lot of nouns. I want there to be a lot of, we don't have to explore them in a very complex way, just picture, noun. And I like asking questions that involve the noun. How many, what is this? How many of this are there? For private tutoring, and I want to make sure I'm focused in my answers, but I think that asking questions at first I want to introduce the noun. What is this? This is a book. This is a pencil. This is a banana. And then I want to ask questions about the noun. Are bananas heavy or light? Is the book on the table? Yes, yes or no? Do you like to read? And then I will use visual to create more questions. And if I was on a PowerPoint, I would have the question, what is this? And then I would have a follow-up sentence. This is a, or this is a, because I really want people to get comfortable with asking questions and responding to questions. I would say that is my biggest approach for teaching English. I want it to all be about feeling comfortable in conversation with the questions, because I feel that that's where the confidence starts to come for the learner.
So
and when they
asks, oh, do you teach children? It seems like you teach kids.
I teach mostly adults, actually. I teach I didn't plan it to be this way, but I teach a lot of couples, like a lot of married couples, husband and wife, or for me it just happens. But and I like that. I like private at this point. I like private tutoring with like 2 or 3 people, keep the costs down, and one might be responding while the other is listening. And I think it's a good way to not get too, for your brain not to get too tired when you're taking a lesson with someone else. But you use all the energy you have to learn. And I think I would like to, I think I would like to keep working with adults. With private tutoring, you can kind of customize the lessons a little bit more. And I like to think about, all right, what does this person do for their career? Where do they live? And I like to build lessons around what they do in their day-to-day lives. With kids, I think it would be a little more about activities and certain games. And that's that. Maybe I will teach kids more in the future, but
I know it's hard because I had my daughter, well, she was taking online classes. I know you teach in person, and my daughter was 9 and she was taking online classes, and it was really hard to keep the attention. So definitely teaching kids can be more difficult, especially if they're not super into the idea of taking lessons. So Travel Bloom is just asking all the questions here. So do native English speakers also learn English? Is that true? Well, I mean, I'll answer myself. Like, I think we kind of learn as we're kids, as we're growing up, just from our environment. And so my approach for teaching English to people that are not native English speakers is to teach them the way that people learn it naturally as kids, and kind of teach it through stories and through pictures and drawings. And I think Sam is teaching more of the grammar and teaching more of like the how the language actually goes together and stuff. So maybe you can speak to that.
Yes. To answer the question, I would say there's a little, I remember learning grammar throughout, the younger ages of learning. but but it is different. And
all the way through high school. I mean, they had us take English class all through 4 years of high school. So apparently they're still teaching us grammar all the way through high school, and even like it's required in college. But we can speak it, I think, but we're like learning all those like rules, like, okay, what's the subject, what's the predicate, and what was that sentence like diagramming? Did you have to do that? I had to do that.
They would give you like a paragraph you go through. You have to correct the mistakes, and the Holt handbook. You remember the Holt handbook?
Yes,
I had that for a few years.
And there was like arrows and stuff. So English Bloom says a lot of phrases, grammars, proverbs, and one substitution, syntax. So all that, yeah. So like, I think Sam are you getting into all of those type of things when you're teaching English?
Yes and no. No, because pretty much, and I can explain a little bit of what I've been working on with for the tutoring. What I like to do, what I'm trying to do right now is trying to make slides that follow the calendar year. So in the fall, lessons that appeal to, just like we said here, let me turn my camera here. The leaves are out, the trees are changing colors, acorns. Let's see if I have but pretty much I'm more concerned about nouns, getting nouns out there, and just being able to have simple, question and answer with the relevant nouns. But every lesson I will try and mix in at least one, maybe two grammar parts. And also for verbs, I will try and mix in. The thing with verbs and grammar is that it's more complex. There's more rules to it than a noun. A noun just kind of stays the same, at least in English, it just stays the same the whole time. Verbs change. Grammar has different, tenses. And so I like to mix in a couple of things like that, but per lesson, but the learner only has so much energy and focus. If you overdo the grammar, or if you overdo too many verbs, the learner might get frustrated or just tired out. They get fatigued, brain fatigue.
So it sounds like you're teaching a lot of students that are very like at the very beginning level of English, like learning. I don't know, like level.
There are a lot of the students I've worked with. They live in Massachusetts. They've been living here, 0 to 5, maybe 10 years, but their friends speak their language. They don't go out too much. And that's kind of the learner. So they might like recognize words, but they don't really use them in their day to day. And that's so they probably heard the word car, but they don't like use it in a sentence themselves.
They're mostly like they're working, but they're living at home with people that speak their own language. So Travel Bloom also says, Sam, you speak very gently and politely. And they specifically the speed, it seems to me British speaker, American speaker versus British speaker. Well, we are American, both Sam and I, living in Massachusetts, one of the states of Massachusetts on the East Coast. But yes, I think that's what I think makes both Sam and I good teachers, is that we speak very clearly, and when we're teaching, we kind of we speak slower. And so, Sam, do you teach slang?
I don't. It's not the main focus of my lessons, but I would say no. But I would. It's just teaching. As a teacher, you really think about, I don't want to miss any steps. I don't want to teach this idea before I get to this one. I feel as a teacher that there is somewhat of an order to the information that I'm presenting. But I do like to throw in a little fun exercises into learning. You can't just be like serious the whole time. You have to have fun. So I will, if I ever teach a slang unit or something, I'll get Rochelle and I will record it together, and we'll make it a post on YouTube.
Absolutely. And we're thinking about some different ideas that we have together, Sam and I. So we have Abdullah says, hello, how are you doing? So we're just having a conversation, Sam and I, and you can put your questions in the chat right now. Maybe another time we might do something where we have some of the learners join us, but today it's just Sam and I talking, and you can put your questions in the chat. Let us know where you're coming from. And we have Anna that just joined. So you teach a lot of people that are new to this country and are probably working, but they're not using a lot of English on their job. They're probably like speaking their native language at home. So they're really at the beginning levels. Travel Bloom says, one thing I noticed in real life, Americans speak really fast. Yes, in fact, I know sometimes when I go live, I do speak fast because I have so many people putting the comments in that I'm reading it fast and I'm speaking fast, but we do speak fast. And I think it depends where you live. Like people in Texas will speak very slow. My father, I don't know if anybody has seen any of the stories that my father's been telling stories on my channel occasionally. He speaks slow. Sometimes I'm like, come on, quick, get to the point, but he's very slow. So it depends where you're from. People from New York City speak very fast. Sam, what you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think English in America changes from region to region, like you said. But I do think, as from like a teacher perspective, like going back to the usage of like questions, like I think as someone that's, when you're starting out and you want to learn, you want to actually speak more just in general. That's why I focus so much on the questions, because some students are okay with making mistakes. Some don't want to make any mistakes ever. And it's for those students, they want to have a lot of confidence before they go into, conversation. And they want to know how the question's going to be asked and how the answer is going to be, how the response will be. So I think, unfortunately, it's learning any language can be tough, especially later in life. But I think that in general, you can always say, can you slow down, or can you say that again? I don't think people would. I think that I think that there are some nice people out there that will take the time to teach you, or to correct if you want. It's just, so people speak all types of ways: fast, slow, loud, soft.
Okay. So Travel Bloom said, could you please speak naturally like you speak with native people? Give us an idea of how real conversation happens in the mall, at work. So, I think that maybe we're slowing down a bit because we know that there are people learning English here, but we definitely can do that.
I think we're pretty close to our normal speed, although maybe I'm like a half a degree slower, just because I do feel like I'm trying to like teach the listener. It's like that inner teacher that comes out. You want to be concise and clear. I don't know I don't know.
I mean, I think so too. Like I might occasionally talk faster. I think, especially the first times that, I don't know if anybody remembers. Oh, hello, we have Helena here from Siberia, Russia, and I had a video with her. So thank you so much, Helena, for joining. I think sometimes especially the first time I went live, I was like super fast because I was a little nervous. So I think sometimes, we can talk fast when we're nervous. And Anna, can you remind me where you're from? Anna says, I like your channel. It's the first time I see you streaming, and I understand you very well. Thank you. So this was, it's not the first time I stream, but it's the first time I'm streaming from Zoom. So Sam and I were going to just have this conversation, and Sam says, is it gonna be live? And I said, well, it could be. So let's do that. And we have, it's Maricardo, I'm not sure if I'm saying right, from Brazil. I always watch your videos. And so I'm Rochelle. I'm Mr. Amigo Brazil. I think, is that your YouTube channel? Do you go by that or something? So or is that your name? Mr. Amigo Brazil, keep doing this. And then Travel Bloom said, I just want you to speak in full speed because people online, because you people are online and teaching, so you speak slowly and give a clear understanding of people. Okay, so in any case, I think that we can tend to, like, I think I was just probably speaking a little bit fast there right now. Have a lot of people that are just posting. So please, if you're new here, like the video and put your questions. We have, okay, Anna is from Spain. That's awesome. So we have Sam here, and he was my coworker up until last week. And he is a certified teacher of English. And so if you have questions on learning English, please put those questions in here, because I'm a native speaker, but I don't have that certification for teaching English yet. I might go and get the same one that Sam has gotten. I'm not sure. I'm thinking about it, but Sam here is certified. Yeah. So yeah, I've been thinking about it because, like, I feel like I am somewhat qualified to teach English because I'm a native speaker, and I kind of teach in a way where it's like teaching a more natural way by telling stories. I will tell, like I'm talking to you, I like try to use my hands to tell the story and try to speak slow and clear. Travel Bloom, thank you. Wilson is here. I'm not sure where you're from, but thank you so much. So I think that that's my qualification for teaching English, but Sam has actually got a qualification. Can you tell again what qualification for people that just joined us?
The TEFL certification.
TEFL certification. So Sam has given private lessons to people, like in person before the pandemic mostly, that were here as immigrants, that are here that really don't have much English at all. So he's been talking about his experience with doing that.
Yep. Yeah. Do you want me to talk about that, or?
Yeah, I mean, you can talk about that. I think I can also say, so Sam, like I said, up until last week, he was working with me. If you are at all familiar, I work at a high school, but Sam didn't. He worked but he did a similar work with adults, where we help people apply to college and apply for financial aid for paying for that college. But now Sam is still teaching the English, I think, or he's thinking about that. But he's also going to do like mortgages and buying and selling houses and stuff like that. That's kind of exciting. And then Marcardo says, what to do to motivate students? They don't like the idea to learn a foreign language, or if they don't like the idea of learning a foreign language.
Yep.
So what do you think you would do?
I definitely think there has to be some way to work English into someone's day-to-day life, or at least, week to week. I think a lot of the issue that I see, it's not with, the ability to learn. It's getting in the routine. Although someone that lives here may have friends that are speaking in that language, so there's not a lot of practice. So you need to practice one way or the other. But for motivation, you want to find something that's fun or something that is practical in your day to day. If you get breakfast at like a coffee shop every day, try and order in English, maybe try and ask a question. I would say music is an easy one. And I know a lot of students that listen to music and they think it's fun to listen to it. Whatever you're going to do, the motivation, you want to find something that you can do for a long time, but that you're not going to burn out. So I think that fun,
I think too, it's important that the motivation comes within you, because I was trying to kind of like force my daughter in a way. She was 9 at the time, and forced her to take Spanish lessons, and she didn't want to do it. And I tried to motivate her, like, oh, well, you can have like, I had a prize bag, you can have a prize at the end or whatnot. But she didn't want to learn, and she did learn some, but she really didn't want to. So for me, I always wanted to learn a second language, and I wanted to, as soon as I could, I got a chance to take classes. I wanted to learn, but she didn't have that. So I think it has to come within you, that you have to want to learn it. And like Sam said, you need to do something that makes it fun. So for me, for for Spanish, like I will watch shows in Spanish that I like, or I'll watch videos that I like. So like if I want to watch one of the shows, like it could be a show that's in English, but I turned on Spanish and I watch it. It's kind of still fun for me. It's something that like maybe it's The Office, for instance, and I watch it in Spanish instead of English. I don't know if that's actually in Spanish, but that's what I'll do to kind of make it fun. But it really has to come within you, because I haven't been able to really get my daughter to really get very far in Spanish because she doesn't want to do it herself yet. And then Sam says that I love the way you speak. You can
Here,
speak.
Rochelle, just really quick. I have two examples to for that last one.
Yeah,
too.
thank you.
My friend Clayton, who is from Brazil, he works at I was working with Clayton and his wife for about 8 months tutoring, and he wanted to learn because he knows how to run an auto body shop. He can paint cars, he can fix them up, he can sell them. But if the client comes in speaking English, he has to defer to the receptionist. And so there's money potential if you can speak the language enough. You don't have to be perfect at it, but if you can speak enough to take a client in, ask them what's wrong with your car, just kind of be able to make a couple notes. Really, there's money potential. I have another former student, who she cleans offices for her job, and she likes to talk to some of the employees at the job where she's cleaning. And so for her, it's just about entertainment. She wants to be able to socialize. So I think that it opens up a lot of new doors. So that would be the motivation part. It could be for business, it could be for entertainment, or just general social purposes. But I mean, that, just to go back to that one, that would be the motivation as well.
All right, so English with AK is saying, what is the importance of pausing and thoughts in spoken English? So I'll just quickly, I think it's better to pause and to think what you're going to say than to just keep on talking. Sometimes we'll end up using what's called filler words like and ah. So it's better to just pause and kind of think what you're going to say and speak a little slower. So I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, Sam.
You can, I think it's a very American English type of, to exactly what you said. Or for example, like if I was with someone that was a Russian, what am I trying to say here? I remember once I was with someone who was Russian, and they were like offering me food, and they were like, "Are you hungry?" And I was like, I don't know. I think I'm good. I think I'm all set. And like that made no sense to her. They were like, "Are you hungry? Yes. Are you hungry? No." And I think sometimes in American English, they don't get the concise part to it. But that experience made me want to like really choose my words a little better, because it really, I wasn't being efficient in my response. And so, pauses, you want to show people that you're genuinely thinking about what they're asking you or saying to you. That is what I would say is the benefit of pausing, to show like a natural, to show that you're really engaged.
Yeah. All right, let me see. So Travel Bloom, I think he said something about learning languages are the best way. Let's see, research suggests learning languages is good for personality.
Oh yeah.
I think also like research shows that it's like it's good for your brain. Like what are like, as far as like what do you think like learning languages is good for?
I think learning language. So a part of my teaching English journey, I was trying to learn the Russian language for like 2 or 3 years. And I was trying to learn in college, mostly for fun. And every day I'd wake up, I'd have a cup of coffee, I'd go on this website called Link. And I would try and like review my nouns and stuff. And I think that there is some self-identity that's kind of nice about learning a language. I during that process, I would read these books about memory. I read this book, How to Never Forget Anything. I forget, it was like a memory trick book, you know, and that's what really got me into making flashcards. It was all about making study materials that really appealed to your senses, you know, sound, visual, taste, feeling, just and I think that that stuff I think about a lot as a teacher, trying to appeal to those things. But I think learning a language also, you can't learn it overnight. It's a long-term process. And I think long-term learning is some of the best learning, because you differentiate. It's a journey. It's hard. Once you get to the other side, you feel a sense of accomplishment, but it's stuff that will stick with you. It's harder to, the longer you're into something, it's harder for it to go.
I
think that's a cool
oh,
part. That's a cool part of your brain that's
yeah,
at work, and you don't even know it's sinking in there little by
yeah,
little.
yeah. I have Ricardo who is saying the local educational department insists on maintaining traditional exams. Should we ban traditional exams as the only way to measure our students' skills?
What do you think, Rochelle?
I mean, I think so. I mean, in the US, I would like them to get rid of what's called the SAT and ACT. I think that, you know, in the exams that they have for all the schools, I kind of feel like they don't really show what students know. And I do want to also read from Helena from Siberia. Says motivation plays a great role in learning foreign languages. It might be different. It depends on the age and interest of learners. I guess making friends with foreign people is cool for teens. And like that is true. I've become friends with Helena. She was trying to teach me some Russian. I really haven't learned too much from her. But we became friends on a platform called Hello Talk, where you can find language partners from all over the world. So I wanted to read that one out. I think that motivation, you know, it could be like wanting to meet. I've met lots of really cool people around the world from this whole experience.
Absolutely. And just because you don't, maybe you try and learn a language and it doesn't take you anywhere. When I was learning Russian, I still went to Russia. I still went to Terimok, and I ordered food by myself, and I was like, I felt like, I don't know, like it doesn't, just because you try and it doesn't, you know, lead to anything, it doesn't mean you won't learn anything or you won't gain experiences that you can't appreciate later. But and then about the testing, I think tests,
yeah, go ahead.
Really quick, I think tests are good because in the short term, it motivates you. But I think learning is just lifelong. Like if you stop learning, then it might not be there tomorrow. So
I know I get a little demotivated.
That's how I feel.
Yeah, each time I would take a Spanish test and I'm thinking I'm getting really far and I can understand Spanish television programs and stuff, and I take a Spanish test and it tells me I'm still at like one of the lowest levels. That was like demotivating to me. And I feel like, well, I don't know that that's a really clear indication of my understanding of the language. If I can follow something and I can follow and understand, like at work, we have our coworker Zolchi, and she'll be speaking to somebody in Spanish and I can understand everything she's saying. I might not be able to then completely start speaking Spanish as quickly as her, but I can understand her. So if this test is testing me and says I'm at the beginning level, is that really accurate? So it's kind of, I feel like it can be a little demotivating because it's only testing you on, oh, do you know all these little grammar rules? And maybe I don't particularly know those grammar rules, but I understand the language.
It's tough because, you know, sometimes stress does help you learn. I majored in psychology for my undergraduate, and it just, you want to be kind of like a in between, like you don't want to be too stressed, but you don't want to be so relaxed. There is a little impact on learning. So that's the only credit I would say for the test, is that it might elevate your stress level to a point that makes you focus better. But either way, it's such a small, it's it's a test. It's not talking to someone in a language. It's just a test.
I do want to be mindful of time, because I think it's 12:40 and how much time you might have.
We can go to like one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have English with AK saying, what's the difference between an accent and a dialect?
I don't know. I mean, accent is just how you pronunciate words.
Right.
Dialect.
I would think, like, yeah, for me, I would think that we have, we have we have the British English accents, or we have the accent from Boston, park the car and Harvard Yard, where they like leave off the R's. But maybe a dialect, I don't know. Like, and correct me, anybody in the watching. I think a dialect is kind of maybe a mixture. Like, you have people that are from Haiti, where they have a mixture of French and some African language, so it is a different dialect. So their French is probably different, has different words than French from France. I don't know. Like, if anybody has a different opinion on that, I think that, and you could probably look it up on Google
search.
Like, Google search will probably answer that for you better than we can.
Sorry.
Yeah. So,
but what other questions are there? Are there any other ones?
I don't have any more questions. If you have questions, please put them into the from, at least from our people watching. Oh, we have another one from English with AK. Say, how many different accents are there? Well, geez, there's a lot. Like, there's some that I don't understand. Like, people from
Hundreds
Wales,
of thousands.
for instance.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand people from Wales. I could probably, read. And where is Sam Shepard from? Where is Sam Shepard? That is a good question. He's from Massachusetts.
Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Born and raised.
Yeah, born and raised. I'm from Colorado originally, but my mother's family is from Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, accents. There's just so many. And it's like there's like a southern accent, like Louisiana. There's a southern accent for people from Louisiana. There's a different southern accent from people from West Virginia. Like, they're both states in the south of the United States, but just different, just a little different with certain words. And but I can understand them just fine, and they understand me. It's just an accent. I would sometimes, people like the students I work with, they're worried about their accents, or I think that I think, at least for me, accents they're not only is it not an issue, but I just think it kind of tells a little bit about your story. I think it's completely fine, and I think it should not be a reason to not speak.
For instance, like, I love the Russian accent. I love the Italian accent. I love to listen to people that are from France or Italy or Russia. I love listening to them. So I think I wouldn't want them to lose it. And another thing that I'll tell people, they'll say, well, can I speak like a native English person without an accent? I'm like, well, here's the thing. If you came to the United States before the age of 10, or to Britain or to someplace like that, and you learned English, you probably could end up speaking completely like an American or completely like somebody from Britain. But if you came after that, you're probably going to hold on to that accent. And I know people like my students, if they came before age 10, I work with a lot of immigrant students, they have an accent, but if they came after age 10, they generally lost it. And I work with people, like, I know people from, I have my coworker that is from Panama. I have people that I know from Colombia that have been here for like 20 or 30 years, and they still have an accent, but it's fine as long as I can understand them. We have, I think it's Patricio Garcia from Spain. He says, I don't feel like I can speak, I still don't feel like I can speak English after 30 years of studying it. I need to find someone to speak with. I come from Spain, and is a desert to foreign languages. And then some people go to the coast, but it's difficult to find someone on the coast. So yeah, I think if you are in a country where there's not people that speak English there, what I would say would be to try to watch the videos, try to listen to podcasts. For me, I'm learning Spanish. So now I can speak to my coworker Zolchi and practice with her, but if I can't do that, I'm listening to podcasts in Spanish. I'm watching the news in Spanish. I'm watching videos on YouTube in Spanish. And then, David says, hello there. He's from Dominican Republic of Congo. Thank you. Actually, I've been talking to him on WhatsApp, and it's really crazy, the American English. Can you tell how to master American English? I think it's by listening to the language and really developing an ear.
The 3 set: read, speak it, listen to it.
Yeah.
And
and
I think it's, yeah.
The thing I would say about reading is try to read when you can listen to it. Like I will read on YouTube because I could put the captions on, because the one thing I kind of think might be a problem with just reading to yourself. If you don't have the pronunciation down, you might make bad habits. So by able to read and be able to read the subtitles, then you're going to be able to learn the pronunciation. And
speaking is the hardest thing to work into your routine, though. Like I feel like in learning any language, almost, unless you live in the country, it's always going to be the hardest part. You can listen to stuff on YouTube. You can, access articles and websites. It's just the speaking is the part that's the hardest, but it's also borderline the most important part. And that's where the creativity comes in, where, I think listening to you, it would probably be the next best thing, other than just speaking to someone.
Yeah. And there's ways that you can also find. In fact, I'm going to go live on Saturday and talk about how we can find language partners. Like I found Helena from Siberia because I went on Hello Talk, and I've been talking to David from the Democratic Republic of Congo because I met him on WhatsApp. So you can find some language partners, and you can practice like voice notes and stuff, so you can listen to the language. So that's a great thing.
One motivating reason to learn English is so you can teach it. Teaching a language, it's the best. If you're prepared, if you have an understanding of the language and you're prepared to teach it, it's like you're talking to a friend. And there's nothing better than feeling like you taught someone. So I think that should be motivation for everyone learning. Like, what am I going to do with it? Maybe you end up just teaching it to other people. And that's a great thing.
Yeah. So I think, so Helena, who is on, I don't know if she's still listening, but she teaches English, and she teaches it to medical students. She teaches English and Latin. So she's still learning, but that's her job in Siberia. We have someone else that says, Patricio from Spain says he loves the Venezuelan accent. That's awesome. I have a friend from Venezuela that I met on Hello Talk. And then, somebody, English from AK, says people say he has a fake accent. How can he overcome that? I'm not sure. I think just by listening to the language, if you want to pick up a more of American accent, then follow more people that are from America. Or if you want to pick up a British accent.
If you learn the language and you're speaking it a lot, your accent will start to change. You'll hear, I have heard my accent change with certain words because I've said it so many times that it's more clear. I don't know if it was what it was before. I feel sometimes that because I've been speaking English for all these years. And so that's, but there's nothing wrong with an accent. Don't feel like anything is wrong with it. It's just, if you want it to go away, just speak until it goes away.
Right.
In English.
Okay. So Helena says, the more you listen and repeat after the natives, the better. The faster you can master your pronunciation.
100%, Rochelle. When I do teaching, I love to I say something, everyone says it back. I ask the question, they respond to it. It gives people confidence. I like when the whole class is together, repeating a word, like everyone all together. If you're a student that's not super comfortable talking in front of everybody, everyone is talking together. Everyone can yell it all together. Everyone feels good. Big memory, good memory tactic also. So definitely agree with that.
And Mercado says, we must surround ourselves with a new language we want to learn. My daily practice is listening to programs like CNN, BBC, and others. Absolutely. I mean, that's what I do myself. I'm always listening. For me, I'm learning Spanish, so I'm listening news in Spanish. I'm watching Luisito Comunica, who is like one of the most popular YouTubers from Mexico. And I'm watching shows in Spanish and stuff. And Helena says the language app Hello Talk and Tandem, I haven't heard of Tandem, are very helpful. I know it from my own experience. I'll have to look that one up. I use Hello Talk,
Nice.
Helena, but Tandem I haven't heard of. Do you have any apps or anything?
You know, I used to use this app called Link, LINGQ, and it's a good, they'll take like transcripts and they'll basically have words or phrases ready to be translated. They make it easy to, if you want to print something out, take a page with you. I used to like print out a page. I would like go for a walk, unfold it, just review the words. I think flashcards, if you can make them yourself, the thing is for me, like I actually enjoyed to make the flashcards. If you are someone that likes to do that, like when I was trying to learn Russian, I had a book, The 1,000 Most Common Words, and they'd have the nouns and like a sample sentence. And I would write out the sentence. I'd circle the words. They have six cases in Russian, prepositional, nominative, genitive. They have, it's a little more complex than in English, but so for me, I would open up the cards. The picture would tell me, like, I'd be able to look at the picture and say, all right, the word means this. But then the sentence would be kind of like a little extra practice for me. And when I was learning Russian, I like to use colors for the cases because the endings of the nouns would change based on the context of the sentence. Like you could say water. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So actually, so somebody, Presidio from Spain is saying, do you give lessons? So are you on iTalk? Sam, if you were to give some lessons online, will you be thinking about doing that in the future? I know you have not been.
So here's the thing. I absolutely am going to teach again. I am interested in putting content on YouTube. But I am, and Rochelle, like, she knows what I'm about to say because I've said this. I am like going back to the drawing board right now, and I'm trying to look under a lot of rocks, expression. I'm trying to be extremely prepared and thorough, and it might take me like a while to come up with a year's worth of slides, but I am determined.
Sam is a perfectionist, and I keep on saying, just do it. Like, he's coming up with all these Google slides, and I said, Sam, people just want to talk to you. They want to learn from you. That you would be a great teacher. But
pretty much, man. I'm trying to like make my own textbook essentially, and so con, I won't be able to finish it for a little bit. Pro, when it's done, it's going to be a great resource, and honestly, I think I might just put it on YouTube. So people can access it for free. I mean, and that's kind of my the thing is that there's so much material out there. I could go online and teach you a lesson using like a certain textbook or whatever, but I really feel that I want to explore. I want to look at like 3 textbooks, and I want to say the lesson from this textbook on this subject is the best out of all 3 books. I'm going to teach that one. And then I'll go to the next subject. The lesson from this book is the best. I really want to not waste people's time, not waste people's money. The only downfall is that it's going to take me some time to put it together.
I'm gonna
And
try to
Rochelle,
convince Sam to do it before, like, just do it. I'll keep on working on him, but hopefully he'll come
I know.
and speak with us again. So Helena
Yeah.
says, I agree, Russian is more difficult than English, even for a lot of natives that are not good at Russian. So there you go.
I loved learning Russian. It's just there's so few Russian speakers. I would have to be like in Moscow to like
There's
living.
a whole bunch in Framingham.
You know,
Framingham.
I know.
Like,
if I was living in Framingham, I live like I live in the woods.
I know you don't live as close, right? So that's like kind of probably 45 minutes. So
Russian is such a cool language. I think it's such a cool language.
Okay, awesome. So we have some people asked about WhatsApp groups. I don't know if Sam really knows. There's a ton of English WhatsApp groups, which is where some of these people are coming from.
Yep.
As far as learning language from there, I think you can find some language partners. That would be my opinion. I don't know that Sam has ever really explored that.
Right now, I just get clients from friends. You know, a lot of, and I think my interest is in private tutoring and YouTube stuff, but I have been thinking about getting back in the classroom, but now that I started a new job, I think
And Sam has got a lot going on, a new job, like two kind of jobs, like you're doing mortgages during the day. You didn't start that yet, did you?
I start on Monday.
Started Monday. So he had a week off between, like, he worked with me. Now he's going to do mortgages, and then he's going to do the real estate, which is like helping people buy and sell their houses. So he's got a lot on his plate right now.
That's the thing. I'm kind of learning those things right now. I'm listening to a lot of YouTube. I'm reading a lot of PDFs, and but I have, the thing is that teaching English is right. It's that third thing on the list for me. And I have materials already. I've been working on them. They're just not finished. So.
Okay. Well, I do want to be mindful if anybody has one or two last questions, because Sam has a obligation that he's going out somewhere. If you want to put your last questions, otherwise we're going to say goodbye. So anybody last questions for Sam? And hopefully we're going to get him back for another. This was a lot of fun going live, because I've gone live by myself. And then I'm just talking straight for an hour, and it's fun, but it's a lot to talk straight for an hour. So I can definitely sympathize with teachers that talk all day long. So it's been great to have a conversation with Sam and go live and be able to talk to all of you joining as well. All right. So that being said, I don't see any more questions. Thank you so much for joining. And I'm going to figure out how to end. Oh, I think I just pressed this end. So goodbye, everyone. Goodbye for this. I'm looking over here because that's where I see the questions. Goodbye, everybody. I think I'm going to just, when I press it, I think we'll end the meeting, and then I'll